We're getting to that time of year, boys and girls. Transplant season. Things are going to be going in the ground in about a month from now. So I am in the process of transplanting a flat of San Marzano tomatoes. So I figured, since I'm down here, I just take you guys along with me, kind of show you how I do this. I know for a lot of you old school gardeners, transplanting tomatoes is about as basic as things get, but sorry about that, kid, dog upstairs making stupid amounts of noise. So like I was saying, transplanting tomatoes for a lot of you is no big thing. You've done hundreds and hundreds or thousands of them. But we have a lot of new subscribers on the channel who are just kind of getting into gardening, and sometimes transplanting can be a little intimidating. So for you guys who are new, I'll walk you through how to transplant tomatoes. Once you do a couple, it's easy peasy, okay? All right. These are what's left of the San Marzanos that I haven't transplanted yet. They're 4 or 5 inches tall, okay? So these are my preferred shape of grow cells, the long narrow ones. I find I get much better root development on the longer ones instead of the shorter, wider ones, okay? That's just my preference. So, hang on. So, we're going to transplant this one right here, okay? First thing you want to do, come in, just use your thumbnails and pick those little cotyledon leaves off. Don't need them. Second thing, you need to get your other size cup, whatever you're going to use. I'm using solo cups, and I have about 2 inches of soil in the bottom. Soil is already moistened. Now, easiest way to get these out, okay, grab a hold of the stem with one hand. You don't have to pinch it hard, and then squeeze all the way around with your fingers. And right here at the top is where they'll generally get stuck the most. So I come in here with my fingers and I try to give it a squeeze and loosen it up. And then, as you're kind of squishing with your fingers, just gently pull up, slide it out. Okay? This is what you're looking for. You want your soil plug to hold together with enough roots. Okay? If it's not holding together, it's not ready yet. You also want at least a couple of sets of leaves at the top, okay? And now you see on that stem, you see that stuff that looks like fur? If you bury that in the ground, and I'll show you how I do it, all of those little things that look like hair right here, okay, they will grow into roots. So you don't when you transplant your tomatoes, don't plant it to the level of the soil. Bury that stem. And you can bury as much as you want. You could bury it right up to there if you want to. But we're going to bury it at least part way up here, okay? So basically, this is what I do. Grab that. Oh, got to change the angle. So basically I have, give or take 2 inches of soil in the bottom. I just hold it by the stem. I just hold it right in the center. Okay? Fill your soil all the way around. Just give it a little poke with your finger like that. Fill it up some more. And I'm not going to pack this down very hard. I don't want those roots to have to fight to get into that soil. And that's why this potting soil has lots of perlite in it. And the perlite will help with this soil from packing down too hard. Okay? Try not to get soil on your leaves, because the number one vector for pathogens for tomato plants is, you guessed it, in your soil. Okay? So try not to get soil on your leaves. And that's basically all you got to do to bury your tomato plant, or to transplant it. So we probably buried about half of that stem, right? And now this will just go into the tote with the rest of them. And then when I get them all in here, Sorry, when I get them all in, I'll just water the whole thing. I'll make a bunch of labels out of cut up yogurt containers, right? Just right on here with a Sharpie. Stick the little tag right inside there like that. And then we're good to go. And I'm also going to water them. I'm going to foliar feed them with this. And this is a kelp solution. Okay? So we're going to give them a little bit of a feeding right off the bat. So I'll water down the soil and then I will foliar spray them with a kelp spray. You don't have to do this. Okay? Tomatoes are very resilient. You don't need to spray them with something like that. Now, also saying all that, I'm using straight up potting mix. Okay? There is a little bit of fertilizer in here, but not much. Just a little bit. So it's basically good for seedlings and stuff. It's not enough to feed these plants from now. It's the 25th of April, 2024. There's not enough fertilizer in this potting mix right here to be able to feed these plants for the next month, because I can't plant things out in the garden till about May 24. So I will be fertilizing these as well. And you have various options for fertilizers. I'll leave that up to you. I fertilize with organic fertilizers. You can, you don't have to. That's a personal preference thing. But just remember that now that I've transplanted these, okay, in about a month from now, these are going to be 2 feet tall. Okay? So we're going to go from about a 3-inch tall plant to about a 2-foot tall plant in the next 30 to 40 days until I get these outside into the garden. So they will require food. Okay? So keep that in mind if you're going to do your transplants, that you're going to need to feed them, or they are going to be so stressed out, and they're going to be even more stressed out when you put them outside. So keep them happy while you're growing them inside, and then that way when you do plant them outside, they'll have a much easier chance to adapt to getting planted into the ground, and they'll go through less transplant shock, because the healthier your plant, the more abuse it can take. And transplanting it from a greenhouse inside, like in my greenhouse right now, to planting them outside in a field with no sun protection and weather that you may not be able to control, not enough water, too much rain, whatever it happens to be, you want your plants as healthy and stress-free when you plant them as you can. So that's it. There's really not a whole lot to transplanting tomatoes. And check this out. These are 8-foot tall tomatoes in the greenhouse, covered in fruit. Check that out. Isn't that gorgeous? Should we try one? Let's try one. Oh yeah, look at that. See that happened there? That split because they got too dried out, and then I watered them and it sucked up too much water. These are sugar lump cherry tomatoes. Oh, those are so good. So, you can do this. End result. Big ass tomatoes. Look at, they're right up into the ceiling. Okay? Tomatoes are not complicated. You just got to make sure you give them what they need. And don't forget, they need a slightly acidic soil. Okay? You can do a pH test, check your soil levels. All right, guys. Hope this helps. Have an awesome day. Grow good food. See you later.